Welcome back to the Black Corner. In today's video, we amplify the voices of African revolutionaries, delving into their perspectives on liberation, unity, and the enduring struggle for human rights. Let's go. 1. No matter how hot the water from your well, it will not cook your rice. Amilcar Cabral. This quote suggests that having a resource, no matter how abundant or potent, is not sufficient if it is not suited for the task at hand. Hot water from a well is not typically boiling, and thus cannot cook rice. This can be extrapolated to various scenarios where having something valuable is only useful if applied correctly and in context. You can exert a lot of effort or have significant advantages, but if they are not applied in the right context, they won't achieve the desired outcome. 2. The colonialists care nothing for Africa for her own sake. They are attracted by African riches, and their actions are guided by the desire to preserve their interests in Africa against the wishes of the African people. For the colonialists, all means are good if they help them to possess these riches. Patrice Lumumba. Lumumba conveys a harsh critique of colonialism, portraying it as fundamentally exploitative and indifferent to the rights and desires of African people. He argues that colonial powers were primarily driven by greed and self-interest, willing to use any means necessary to extract wealth from Africa. This perspective brings into focus the destructive impact of colonialism on African societies, emphasizing the moral and ethical failures of the colonial enterprise. 3. Action without thought is empty. Thought without action is blind. Kwame Nkrumah. Nkrumah reminds us of the necessity of integrating thought and action. Effective and meaningful endeavors require both careful consideration and decisive implementation. Thought provides the direction and purpose for action, while action brings thoughts and ideas to fruition. Without thoughtful planning, actions can become meaningless or superficial, failing to achieve their desired goals or make any significant impact. Thoughts that are not acted upon fail to bring about change, solve problems, or contribute to progress. It's akin to having a vision but lacking the execution to make it a reality. 4. Unity and victory are synonymous. Samora Marshall. Samora suggests that the likelihood of achieving victory as Black people is intrinsically linked to the level of unity among us. We must collaborate, mutually support our shared purpose in order to achieve success. Whether in social movements, organizational goals, or personal endeavors, unity is the fundamental component for reaching our desired outcome of victory. Our collective power is often much greater than the sum of our individual efforts. 5. The enemies of a people are those who keep them in ignorance. Thomas Sankara. Ignorance is a tool of oppression. By keeping people uninformed or misinformed, oppressors maintain control and power. Knowledge is empowering. When people are kept ignorant, they are easier to manipulate and control. Those in power may use various means to limit access to information, education, and critical thinking to maintain their dominance. Thus, Sankara encourages us to think critically and question information to avoid being misled. 6. It is better to die for an idea that will live, than to live for an idea that will die. Steve Biko. In this quote, Biko urges us to support and, if necessary, sacrifice for ideas and causes that have enduring value and impact. He suggests that true meaning and legacy come from aligning ourselves with principles that will outlive us, rather than transient or superficial ideas. In essence, he highlights the nobility of making the ultimate sacrifice for a cause that transcends your lifetime, ensuring that the idea lives on and impacts future generations. 7. If you want peace, then you must struggle for social justice. Chris Hani. True peace cannot be achieved without addressing and rectifying social injustices. Without fairness and equity in society, peace is superficial and unstable. Social justice ensures that everyone has equal rights, opportunities, and access to resources, creating a foundation for lasting peace. However, achieving peace requires proactive efforts, It's not enough to desire peace passively, we must actively work to eliminate injustice and inequality to establish a truly peaceful environment. 8. We prefer poverty in liberty than riches in slavery. Ahmed Sekou Touré. Sekou Touré takes a moral and ethical stance by prioritizing human rights and freedom over economic gain. Even in poverty, having liberty allows individuals to maintain their dignity, make their own choices, and live according to their values and principles. Freedom is essential for a meaningful and fulfilling life. Riches obtained under conditions of slavery are hollow and dehumanizing. Slavery strips individuals of their autonomy, dignity, and rights, making material wealth insignificant in comparison to the loss of freedom. 9. A slave who cannot assume his own revolt does not deserve to be pitied. Ibrahim Traoré. Ibrahim implies that pity is not warranted for those who do not take steps to change their own situation. Sympathy should be reserved for those who, despite their struggles, make efforts to resist and fight for their freedom. He takes a tough perspective on the necessity of action and personal responsibility in the face of oppression, and calls for an active stance against slavery and oppression rather than passive acceptance. African revolutionaries have been at the forefront of the struggle for freedom, justice, and equality. Their words have mobilized nations, inspired movements, and challenged the status quo. Let us continue to honor their legacy and capture their spirit of resilience and visionary leadership to fight for a better future. Share your favorite quotes from African revolutionaries, and let us know how their words have inspired you. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button to join our growing community of changemakers. Until next time, stay inspired.